In today's video, I'm showing you the best way to butcher any type of bird. This applies to chicken, turkey, duck, pheasant, literally all of them. Once you've practiced this method a few times, you'll be able to completely break down any type of bird in less than 2 minutes. It's that easy. To get started, you're going to want one of these 3 knives. This is a traditional boning knife. This actual knife was gifted to me 18 years ago when I started my first full-time job working in the kitchen. It has a thin, rigid blade, and this would be my first choice for any butchering of any kind of meat. The second knife is a filleting knife. It also has a thin blade, but it's a lot more flexible than the boning knife. Lastly, this is a regular veg prep or paring knife. This has a slightly thicker, rigid blade. Today, I'm going to use this paring knife to show you that you don't need all the gear to get a professional result. You can just use what you have. Make sure your board is secured in place with some grip mat. A damp towel will also work well. Get yourself a few sheets of paper towel and a tray or something to put the chicken pieces on as we go. The idea is once we start getting our hands covered in raw chicken, we have everything around us that we need and we are not touching cupboard handles, dishcloths, door handles, etc, etc. This is known as proper preparation prevents poor performance. The 5 P's. For the bird, I'm using an average sized chicken. As I said earlier, this method applies to all birds: ducks, geese, turkeys, guinea fowl, even budgies if you're into that sort of thing. It's completely universal. Get the chicken onto its back with the legs facing you and the wings facing away from you. Find the loose skin between the body and the leg and make a small cut. Then grab the leg and bend it back until you dislocate the joint. Holding the chicken by its leg, bend the leg back and you should see this small area of meat popping out. This is the oyster, and this is considered the jewel of the chicken as it's the most succulent, tender and flavorful piece of meat on the whole bird. With your knife, carve around that piece of meat and that's your leg free. And I'll do the exact same with the other leg as well. Next, we take the wings off. Just hold the bird up by the wing, just like we did with the legs. Place your knife roughly halfway between the body and the first wing joint. Make an incision until you hit the bone, then spin the bird by the wing 360 degrees whilst doing a sawing motion with your knife until your cuts join up again. Then bend the wing joint back against itself until it dislocates and comes free. That gives us a nice clean exposed bone that will come away with our breast. On the opposite side, I'll do the same, but my bone didn't come away clean. This happens sometimes and I'll show you how to fix it at the end. Now for the wishbone. The wishbone is an upside down V-shaped bone. The point is here and it runs down either side like this. Lift up the neck skin and have a feel around to locate the wishbone and slide the tip of your knife in behind it, then come down towards the chopping board until you meet resistance and cut through. Repeat the same with the other side, then pick up the bird by the wishbone and twist until it comes free. Now we just have the breasts and the main carcass remaining. If we were to cut off this rear section of the body here with a knife or even a pair of scissors, we would have what's known as a crown. This is a great way to roast a turkey to get a super succulent, juicy breast meat. To take the breasts off, have the bird with the wing bones facing away from you. There is a line running down the center of the bird. If you feel with your finger, you'll be able to feel a bone called the sternum or keel bone. Take your knife, starting at the neck end, run it down just to one side of that bone, all the way to the bottom. Then open that cut up a bit with your fingers and make another slice with your knife, but at a bit more of an angle this time, as you should be hitting the rib cage now. Then keep slicing following the shape of the rib cage until you are most of the way off. Then find where the inner wing joint is from the inside and slice between that joint all the way down to free up the breast. To do the other breast is always a little bit trickier because the bird is now a little unbalanced. Make that first slice from the top neck end all the way down. Then I'm going to show you a slightly different method that you might prefer. Using your finger, just run it down top to bottom until the breast is almost free from the body again. And find that inner wing joint. Cut through, following down until the breast is free. To clean these breasts up, I pull off the fillet or tender, then trim off any excess skin following the shape of the breast. In the tender, there's always a little white tendon. To remove this, just begin to slice it out with your knife to create a kind of tab or handle. Then using a piece of paper towel to grip it, hold your knife to the meat and pull the tendon to release it. To clean up that bone from one of the breasts, just scrape down the bone to release the cartilage as much as possible. Then with a paper towel, get a grip on it with one hand and grab the other end of the bone with your other hand to support it. And pull gently but firmly until you have a clean bone. To separate the thighs from the drumsticks, just find the kind of knee joint with your knife and cut through. It's that simple. Then I'll just trim off any excess skin. In the end, you'll have a tray with all the pieces of chicken on it. The main body or carcass, wishbone and the wings are great for stocks and soups. Then the drumsticks, thighs, breasts and tenders are yours to do whatever you wish. I hope you learnt something from this video. Use this method on your Thanksgiving turkey, on your Christmas goose, or even just your Sunday chicken. If you love chicken, go check this video out and I'll see you next time.